Hey everyone, Irit here with a new video. I hope you're enjoying the Hip Kid Club YouTube channel. It's been a lot more active now in the new term, so make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, and then you will get notified every time there's a new video. I think it's really fun to have different videos from different designers on the channel. It just gives you a lot of variety and a lot of inspiration. So my layout today is based on the mood board, which you saw before, and mostly I was inspired by that image of just a ton of notes hanging on a wall, I guess, and that's what I'm going to use as my basic design. So I'm going to start with cutting just different size of papers, and I'm mostly using, if not exclusively, the Maggie Holmes papers in the kit. I think I did use one that wasn't Maggie Holmes, but it always helps to narrow down your options if you stick to one of the manufacturers. Of course, it depends on the kit. Some kits have a lot from one particular collection, and then others have a variety of different ones. The August kits are filled with the beautiful Maggie Holmes goodies, so there's a lot from that collection, the Willow Lane collection, and that's what I mostly use. I'm gonna go with a white background. It's kind of a no-brainer, an easy way of keeping your options open, you know, having a white background. So I'm going to tweak a little bit the whole design inspired by those, like, tons of those papers. Just, it looked like post-its or notes that you would put on your message board, but a ton of them. So I'm going to kind of tone it down. This is just depends on your personal preference. You can go with this inspiration a lot further. You can cover your whole page with little pieces of paper that would look also cool. You could stitch through them and kind of create more of a quilted design. It kind of reminds me of Paige Evans, but I kept it a little bit more simple. The basic design, I'm going to have these scraps of paper. I'm going to sort them. Sorry, searching for the words in my head. I'm going to sort them, of course, by color, because that's just one of my go-to things. And then I stitched through them. And I'm also going to create a somewhat triangular design just by keeping these strips to different lengths, and the top one is the widest, and then slowly they become narrower. I just think it gives the layout a bit more of, it's just a bit a cleaner look, and it kind of also leads your eye. I like every different orientation. I really love also the vertical, sorry, the vertical design. I think that would have been a really fun one. So you can definitely just take this and make it your own. You know, looking at this now, I really love how that looked also. So I definitely could have gone that way, but I decided to go with the horizontal design. And this is one of those designs that really lets you play with pattern papers. And I love those because I love pattern paper, but I sometimes find it a bit challenging to use in larger quantities. And designs like these really let you play with pattern paper. It really lets the pattern paper shine, because I think the pieces here are big enough that you can look at the layout and you can appreciate different pattern papers. You know, especially as us scrapbookers who love our pretty papers and embellishments. I think it's definitely a part of our enjoyment to use those products. I don't know how just someone looking at our albums would appreciate it, but for me, I definitely like seeing all those pretty colors and pretty patterns. It makes me happy. So this is a really great design to use, and of course this would totally work with scraps, and also you can create, for example, rows of banners that would also look great. So this is just like a basic idea that you can take to so many different directions, and I really like that. I feel like these types of pages, when I see someone else make them, I feel that like really inspired. So you can follow it exactly like I did here, or just take the basic idea and then run with it to whichever direction you want to take it. So I'm using 2 photos of my girls, and this was the first day of school. Kindergarten or daycare actually started a week before that, but this was Ella's first day in the 4th grade, and I just took a picture of the 2 girls when we left the house. And of course, Lily also wanted to wear a backpack because she wants to do everything her big sister does. And they just looked so adorable. And yeah, it's important to also document these days. So these are my photos. I printed 2 of them on 1 sheet of 4x6 photo paper, and I used my Canon Selfie, which is what I use to print 99% of my photos. I will use my regular printer if I'm doing a large photo, but for the rest of my layouts, most of my layouts, I use my Canon Selfie. It's really a fantastic printer, and from bitter experience, okay, I'm a little bit dramatic, but I just learned that it just works better for me. I have had my photos printed in a printing service. Yes, it's cheaper per print, but I found that I just print too much, and then I don't scrap everything, and then I have a ton of pictures just lying around unused, unscrapped in piles of photos. So I don't want that. The Canon Selfie allows me to print as I scrap, and that's the method that works for me. So trying to create a balance here. I want my photos to be the main element here, even though they are kind of light compared to all the pattern papers at the top, but I still think they draw your eye because our eyes usually go to faces and people. I think we're kind of trained to do that. I mean, if you look at a person, your look goes automatically to their eyes. It's just the way we work, I guess. So that's my focal point here, but to create a bit of balance and of course to add some embellishments, I created that embellishment cluster on the top left corner. So that creates kind of a dynamic composition, and it balances a bit the photos. I thought that was a good point, a good place to add some more embellishments. And I'm just looking around. Another thing I really love about these types of designs where you kind of color coordinate everything is that it makes embellishing a lot easier, because I knew I was going to add mostly pink embellishments on the pink row, yellow embellishments on the yellow row, and so on and so forth. So that made things easier. And then at the bottom around my photos, I decided to add some of the purple accents that came in the kit. And I love purple. It's my favorite color, and it has been since I was a child. I think in the last, 20 years, it kind of went out of style, I guess. It's just you couldn't find a lot of purple things. And I'm not sure I like to wear purple, but anyway, digressing here. But then I think it became again more trendy when Pantone, is that how they call it? Came out with the color of the year. That was the orchid. And that's my favorite shade of purple, that somewhat pinkish purple. So yeah, and I definitely like the lighter purples. I don't really like the deep ones. Anyway, I don't know what that says about me, but that's my favorite color, and I'm really happy that the kit had some of it. So here's a little tip for you. If you love those fringe bits as much as I do, and I'm crazy about them, this is the last one, I've used every one of them, and you want to make them last longer, you can just make 2 out of the 1. So I basically added a row of adhesive in the middle of that fringe, and then I added a strip of foam, and that kind of imitated the adhesive that comes already with those strips. And I cut it down. The original size was just too big for what I needed there. I wanted to add it to the left side of my photos, and it was just too big. So I made 2, and now I have another piece to use on another layout. You can also run it through your sewing machine. I might do that like the original pieces come. And of course you can totally make your own. If you have crepe paper at home, you can do this yourself and create your own. So just putting some finishing touches. I had a little bit of trouble with that sticker on the left because I didn't like the fact that it was too big, or it was sticking out more than the row of pattern papers above it, and that kind of created a little white space there that kind of draws your eye, and not in a good way. So I was trying to fill that gap, but I didn't like anything that I put there. So eventually I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take the sticker off, and I'm going to just put it in a different place where it doesn't create that shelf, that empty space. That just doesn't look good. But in that place, I'm going to stick this little sticker, which you can see doesn't stick further than the teal or aqua pattern papers above it. So that keeps my whole design of things getting narrower and narrower as you go down. And adding just the final touches, little embellishments, stars, and those puffy hearts. I added one of them there from Amy Tan's new collection. I added one of them to the left side of my photo, and I really like how that looks. Those inflatable hearts are super, super cute. So thank you, Amy, for making those, because in her previous collections she also had inflatable embellishments, but they were so big and I never managed to use them on a layout. But these hearts are perfect, so well done. Here's my finished layout. Thank you for watching, and I wish you a wonderful day. Bye bye.